so I've been seeing a lot of videos about these big drones flying in New Jersey and this big mystery and everything. So I started writing down all the information I was getting from the videos, and after I wrote down all the information and started thinking about it, it started to make a lot of sense what's going on with these drones, and I'm going to share that with you now. So to begin with, these drones have been sighted over Picatinny Arsenal. They've been sighted over naval vessels, British naval vessels, destroyers. They have been spotted over Royal Air Force bases with American jets at them. So these drones are flying over sensitive military targets, and they're just hovering above them in plain sight. They leave the lights on so that people from the ground can see them. They fly them in low enough that people hear them coming overhead. Whoever's putting these drones over these military bases wants the public, not just the military, to see them. It's a message. Whoever's flying the drones over wants you to know that we can put drones over your military stuff. They even flew it over one of Trump's golf courses. Okay, so you have to sit here and go, and these drones are big, like 9 feet across, some of them, and they can hover for hours, meaning they have large power supplies, and they're very powerful, and they can fly long distances. So these aren't your Amazon commercial drones. These are bigger than those Amazon drones. These are basically military grade drones, and the only people who make those are China, and China sells a lot of them to probably to us and probably to Russia, and they're very expensive, and they're not something that the average citizen could get a couple of. It's out of our price range, and if we flew them up, civilian drones have special aircraft transmitters. These don't have the aircraft transmitters. They have the lights on them, but they're not having transponders go off to the FAA like normal drones would for civilian use. Okay, so we know these are like military drones. Okay, so the question is this someone in America doing it? Well, if it's someone in America doing it and they're testing things, they wouldn't leave the lights on or leave them hovering. That's one thing. If they were our drones and it was military people being trained on them, they would say, oh yeah, we're training guys on drones. That's why you see the drones flying around. We've got our soldiers learning how to fly these as part of a training program, but they haven't said that either. Okay, so it's not a clandestine activity. So let's say China wanted to come in and look at our military bases and our naval vessels. They wouldn't leave the lights on or fly them low. Okay, they wouldn't want us to know they were there gathering information. So whoever's doing it wants us to see them. All right, and then another thing is they're reported that they're flying in from the ocean side into New Jersey and flying back out to the ocean from New Jersey, from what the people are saying. So I find that very interesting because it makes me think, okay, they may be launched from a ship 12 miles out in international waters. Think about that. If you have a civilian vessel or military vessel and you're 12 miles off the coast, you're in civilian waters, and you can fly a drone into New Jersey 40 miles and 40 miles back, or however far it is. I don't know how far it is, probably not that far. And you can fly them back and forth in and that. And then if somebody shoots down one of the drones, it's not like you have marked who they belong to on them, so you have plausible deniability. Okay, so somebody is basically going, nanny, nanny, boo, boo, I can fly my drone over you to us. Okay, so that makes me think, who would want to do that to America and do that in the UK and do that in America and do it to basically us? And then what I come up with is the Russians. Plain and simple, the Russians are trying to send a message to the United States and to NATO because the United States has said basically, we think there'll be a big war in Europe, but we're too far away for Russia to mess with us. So what Russia's trying to do is show us we are vulnerable. Okay, so the other part of it is our government isn't telling us who's doing this. Okay, they're saying we don't know, we're investigating, which indicates to me they don't want to tell us who's doing this. If I can figure this out, there are people in Langley, Virginia who figured this out way before me and get paid to do this. Okay, it's common sense when you start adding up all the evidence and eliminating possibilities of what's going on. Not to mention, when did we start escalating this war with the long-range missiles in Ukraine? We started that in mid-November. Okay, why is that important? These things showed up about 2 weeks later. Okay, why is 2 weeks important? Because it takes about 2 weeks to make a decision to load up a ship and to sail it over across the Atlantic and to start the operation. There's logistics to doing an operation like this, and it would take a couple weeks to get it into effect, to basically make the decision, get the drones, put them on the ship, get the personnel. They just don't have it like just call up and say, send the ship, go now. They have a ramp up time. So the ramp up time fits with when we started escalating the stuff in Ukraine with the long range missiles. So again, I think in my brain, this is Vladimir Putin sending a message that America and UK, you are vulnerable. We can fly a drone over any part of your country anytime we want. Not only that, it's a drone big enough that it can carry a payload. A payload like an explosive that we can drop on you, or a payload like a suitcase-sized nuke that we can detonate over you. Think about that as a first strike weapon, okay? So instead of having to send ballistic missiles with 30 minutes or send hypersonic missiles with 15, 20 minutes lead time, you can just fly drones in under a radar from the ocean and get them over major cities and major military places, fly them all in at the same time, detonate nukes, and take out the entire East Coast before anyone knows there's anything suspicious going on. I mean, that's scary. I remember the movie Hunt for Red October, where they had the silent submarine where they could get it so close to the United States, they could launch missiles before anyone knew what was going on. Well, launching these drones in under the radar with nukes, they could take out all the major cities and everything on the East Coast and the West Coast. I mean, technically, you'd still have all the missile silos in the middle of the country could still fire on Russia, and you'd have all of our subs that were actually deployed being able to fire on Russia, but you'd be able to basically do a first strike and completely cripple the United States right off the bat. And that's the message Putin's trying to send to this administration. You are vulnerable. We can get at you anytime we want. We can drop a bomb on you anytime we want with our drones and take you out. Stop pushing our buttons. Stop poking the bear. So that's my theory. You can have your own. You can do your own research, but that's what I came up with. So hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, may God keep you and bless you. And remember to pray and learn about Jesus and all that, because the time is getting shorter every day.